So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing, and this is my post-fight review for the fight which took place on the undercard of Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, which was Frank Sanchez versus Ajit Kabayel. Now, this was a good competitive fight for what it pretty much lasted, and a very good performance from Ajit Kabayel. He's pretty much defied the odds again in terms of the heavyweight scene, and he remains unbeaten to this date. And he dispatched, a decent Frank Sanchez. I use the word decent because Frank Sanchez wasn't like what we saw in the past, if you know what I'm trying to say. He looked slow, lethargic. He looked as if he was carrying a knock or maybe an injury. He did have that knee brace on. Not sure whether or not it was a knee issue that was causing him the problem, the reason why he couldn't move, but it just looked old. Now, Sanchez wise, his hands were quite quick, and he was throwing some good shots, and he was landing some decent shots on Kabayel. But Kabayel's a good heavyweight, and Kabayel was obviously absorbing the shots that he was taking from Frank Sanchez, but giving his own back, and he was hurting Sanchez as well. And obviously, at some point in the fight, in the seventh round, just before the referee stopped the fight, managed to drop Sanchez twice. And at the time, I felt as if this was a good stoppage from the referee because nothing else was coming back from Frank Sanchez at that point. And if he would have remained, no doubtedly he would have probably gone down again in that round, and potentially that like maybe would have got hurt. But the shot that ended it, it was a good it was kind of like a soft jab to the midriff. And the reason why I say soft jab is because it didn't really look as if it was a hard punch, because he just looked as if he tapped him down to the body with a jab, and obviously he then went down. But the damage was done prior to that, and it was a brilliant disguised left hook. Caballero 1-2 to the head, right hook to the body, and then it was the left hook which Sanchez didn't see coming, which done the damage. And at that point, it was just pretty much a matter of time. But yeah, brilliant performance from Ajit Kabayel. As I said, he's defied the odds. He remains unbeaten, and he's coming off two sensational victories now. The latter, which was against Arslan Black, I can't pronounce his name, Matmadov, which he defeated him last year in December in 4 rounds. He stopped him, he dropped him numerous times, 3 times in that fight as well, and he hurt him as well. And he's a big, massive heavyweight with a massive head, and he obviously demolished him, Caballero, and now he's pretty much done the same to Frank Sanchez. So his stock has risen. And after this performance, we're now putting in contention for the mandatory for one of the belts. I think it's WBO, WBO, can't really remember. But yeah, his stock's risen, and after the fight, he was asked, obviously, what next, and the commentatory team are saying, "Oh, we've got Joseph Parker in here. He's up for the fight." Cabell didn't really seem interested in that fight, and I kind of don't blame him because he's just had 2 hard fights, and he now wants his shot at a world title. But if the belts are not fragmented and he hasn't got an opportunity for for a world title, then if it's me, he has to stay busy. And what a fight that would be between him and Joseph Parker, because Joseph Parker is coming off 2 tremendous wins himself. He obviously defeated Wilder before defeating Zhang as well. So he's got 2 credible names on his record, which is recently beaten. And so has Ajit Kabayel. So that could be a very good fight. And a fight that maybe we could possibly see either maybe on the September card of the AJ, or maybe on the, if there's a rematch with Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, maybe could be on one of those cards. But yeah, the heavyweight scene is spicing up, as they would say, and Caballero was throwing himself in the mix. Prior to his last 2 sensational wins, he's pretty much been, for me, a journeyman fringe European prospect, really. So it's quite interesting. But yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts, and pretty much go from there, really. How far do you think that Ajit Kabayel could go? Do you feel as if he could potentially push the bigger boys in the heavyweight scene and maybe try and capture a version of the world titles? And would you like to see him go up against someone like Josie Parker next in his fight? As always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And please subscribe and comment. Bless.